Okay. All right. I'm back, guys. So I'm going to listen. Y'all know how I am. Because if you've been subscribed to me, you know that, baby, I move with spirit. You know what I'm saying? And plus that, and a little bit, I'm here, there, and I'm everywhere. But I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to keep coming back. I got a lot of requests, and I'm trying to keep up with everything. But one that I've seen somebody mention, and I wanted to touch on, that is um the 12th house aspects. And I'm going to be doing more videos on this because I want to do the natal positioning of how the 12th house affects us with certain planets natally, and I want to do with synastry. But I want to explain something here about the 12th house, because, and what did somebody say real quick that made me even go here? Jesus. Um Man, I don't even see where this person, I don't even see, basically this person wanted to know, as I think I was doing, this was about a Venus, I think your partner's Venus in your 12th house synastry, and they wanted to know, the question was, well, does the Venus person ever fall in love with the 12th house person, or is it just unrequited? Because this being the 12th house, now I'm about to show y'all what to do. It's up to y'all if y'all want to do it or not. Because half of this, majority of this synastry stuff is really conquering ourselves. It's when we conquer ourselves. It's when we learn ourselves. It's when we're mastering ourselves. It's when we're working towards ourselves. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the 12th house is one of those houses to where you have to consciously begin to master yourself. You have to operate, like move through it, and understanding that everything that is popping up from your interaction with this other person, depending on the sign and the planet that it's in, and definitely planet, and how it's coming, how it's reflecting or projecting off to you to see and to understand by way of the person that you're interacting with in your 12th house, is for you to navigate. It's for you to navigate. And I'm going to tell you where a lot of people go wrong, my friends, my dear. They go wrong because once the 12th house is activated by somebody's planet, and okay, it's a house of Pisces, it's a water house, it's a house, people say, of deceit, lies, illusions. But is it all deceit and all lies? Okay, let's go here. Okay, so let's say you chilling one day, you at the house, or you at some other location, you're somewhere, and you have this experience. You're not drunk, you're sober. You haven't been delusional the whole day. Okay? You have this paranormal type experience where you like feel air, or you feel something that's feeling like it's a presence there. You see something, because some of you guys are visionaries. You whatever it is, you experience something that maybe the person that's next to you don't experience, or maybe when you go to tell it to your friends or your family or others, they don't understand it. They want to say it's not true. You can't explain to them. They can't connect with what you're saying unless they themselves have experienced it. Okay. See, okay, I'm gonna use myself for an example. I'm the type of person, my gifts are heavy with seeing through things. Like, I can see through information, and the fact that I can detail it. Dig in, detail it. I can see, I'm able to access information past the point of what's given to me. So you know how you take some people where they're all about learning, like book learning, or like somebody has to teach it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if I was going to be a mechanic, I don't know anything about being a mechanic. So I would have to look at a manual, look at a YouTube video, whatever, to do step by step. What's the best techniques? How do you fix this? Where do you pour that? Okay, for me to understand it. But you have some people that are like natural mechanics, or it's their gift, it's their thing. They've been doing it for so long, it's just natural to them. Just like people that can, and you perfect it over time. It's like people that can build and do art and stuff like that. So my ish, as supernatural as it seems, it's very science oriented. Okay, that's what you have to understand, and it's really based in the area, the art of behavior. Okay, but it's not just physical. So I have the ability to go beyond the physical of what I see and experience life and understand things and learn things past the point of something that's given to me. So I could be, I would be one of those astrologers. I would be, one of those people that where it says one thing operates one way, and this is exactly the way it goes, and it always goes that way, right? And a person that's reading that and studying that will see it that way, because that's the information that's provided to them, and that's what they pass down, that's what they teach. But if you're a person that can go beyond that, you access information beyond that on an intuitive level, because you know that life is about expansion. And then, baby, you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm saying this because there's other people that can do the same thing, that can grasp certain information that way. So I will connect with them, right? I would connect with them. They would be able to connect with me, because they could be like, oh yeah, I get what you're talking about, because I understand the same thing. But suppose there's some people that don't understand that. They're going to tell us, because the ones of us that do understand that we are wrong, because the book said this is the placements, and this is the transits, and this is how it should go, and that's how it should go. You see what I'm saying? So this is because they can't connect. They're not experiencing the 12th house. They're saying it's all an illusion. You're being deceived. It's all an illusion, because they can't access it. Okay, so think of yourself in your own 12th house as this. Something that you don't just actively access or participate in accessing because of different reasons, because maybe you're not even paying attention to it. You're not even aware. You're not, the illusion sometimes, and delusion could come when you are not aware of something that's happening and that's there, but you're not aware of it. So you're just living, and you're just like, it's in your subconscious, it's in your DNA, it's there, but you don't know it. So you're not allowing yourself to consciously access it. That would be the 12th house. That would be the 12th house. So what happens with the 12th house? It could be where we are, we feel trapped. We feel trapped by our emotions. We feel fear, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, you want me to do what? You want me to go sell out there or fly off into the ocean and for it to take me under and take me God knows where? And then you talk a little bit more with the person. They're like, oh no, we're going to get on the ship. We're going on a cruise. This is the destination. That could be the 12th house. So going back to this paranormal activity, you experienced it. Somebody else may be like, nah, you didn't experience that, or I never experienced that before, and you're feeling deceived. You're feeling like, you start to feel confused, like, well, did I experience it? Based off the fact that somebody else can't access it, that experience, in a way that you did. But is there some other people out there that has? You betcha. You see what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with the 12th house, when we're dealing with our 12th house, you have to keep this in mind, because whatever lays there, let's say that there's some signs that feel comfortable in the 12th house. So let's take Mars in the 12th house. Let's take somebody else's Mars, okay? And we're going to put it in your 12th house. So typically, a person's Mars in the 12th house, they don't directly move forward. Mars is that energy of, I'm going to chase, I'm going to desire you, I'm going to want you, I'm going to let it be just a straight shot that you're what I want. And let's say that the Mars is the guy and you are the gal, okay? We're going to do it like this so that it can be easily understood. And you know how the gals are like, oh, Mars should just come after me and be direct and tell me how much they want me and prove it and whatever. And Mars, and depending on what sign it's in, is that person that's like, okay, you want me to go what? You want me just to get out there and just sail off into the sea, into the ocean, and go God knows where? You are that person that's like, no, I want you to get on the ship. Like, no, we're going to the Bahamas. We're going to Nassau. I know where we going, baby. We going to Nassau. You see what I'm saying? You, as a 12th house person, you know that you're not going to, drag the person out into the water, deep sea, and drown them and take their life and suck the life out of them in there. So, you're just like, no, I'm just going to this destination. I want you to come with me because we have fun together. We vibe together. We're connected. This is what the Mars, I'm not trying to be confusing, but the Mars person is like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do with this. And mind you as the 12th house person, or the 12th house person is feeling like they're being as clear as possible, clear as day. But you're not. You could be being rather elusive. You could be switching moods. You could be, so you're moody. Your actions is confusing. So it could be a lot of stuff that you're not speaking on and a lot of stuff that you're not saying because you don't know how to communicate and articulate your feelings to explain what it is that you want. And let's just say, okay, so it would be different if the person's Mars was falling in your 5th house to where you like, oh, you about that life, you about that action. You're like, okay, yeah, I want to go on a date. I want you to, let's go to the movies. Like, this is what I want. Like, I want to go have fun. I wanted to be with you. I want to, it's... Or Mars in the 7th house, where you're more communicative and you're more partnership, like you're more joint in to, and you're giving Mars the right type of vibes and say, okay, chase me, pursue me, okay, want me, okay, desire me, okay, this is what I want. In the 12th house, you think that you're doing all those things, but you're really not. There's a lot of things that's being unsaid. There's a lot of things that's you don't even know how to put into words. But you expect the Mars person to be connected to you in a way, or psychically linked in a way to where they should just know what to do. And a lot of it comes from the 12th house person not really understanding what is there in their 12th house in the first place. Depending on what is there. They're not understanding. They're not fully comprehending. They're not letting it come to their consciousness. And what do they do in a fit of desperation or survival? Okay. Now you done drag the Mars person out here to sea and you the one drowning. You see, to keep themselves from drowning, they're like pulling on the Mars person for dear life or the planet person for dear life. They're like, oh, but why, with Mars, why don't you come after me? Why don't you be direct? You're lying, you start pulling off all these emotions with Venus. Why don't you love me? Why don't you value me? Why don't you want me? With Saturn, why don't you make this a commitment? Why don't you think of me as something that is more than just sexual or whatever it is that you're saying. But you're not understanding. You're thinking that you're connecting with the planet person on this deep, profound level, when really you're not dealing with whatever is coming up for yourself to deal with the way that you should, to bring it up to your consciousness, to handle it, to understand that it's not the other person's problem. It's not the other person's. You're not the victim in this situation. Now, I'm not saying that you can't ever be the victim in this situation because that plays out, but this is another place that I'm talking from understanding the 12th house, how it operates. And now you're projecting, and what happens is the 12th house energy can run the planet person away. So it becomes this one-sidedness, and then the people say, hey, well, when you come across 12th house synastry, it's not meant to last. That's because the 12th house person did not grasp the lesson, did not grasp what was being shown to them. Any placement that you have may or may not last. Any placement or connection that you have with somebody else may or may not last. Does the 12th house, have more of the spiritual component? It does. It does. But let's go back to Mars. Mars and Scorpio. You have Mars. So Mars and Scorpio would actually like the 12th house. They will like the mystery of the 12th house. They want to kind of like swim and find out, and then it could be a lot of the uncovering and unveiling of the relationship, of the chemistry, the synastry through intimate encounters. And it will call for deep intimate encounters. It will call for, so when people are like, oh yeah, this person is using me for sex and this and that, they may or they may not be, but it depends on, a lot of times what people don't understand, it depends on like where people's planets is falling in other people's charts. So if you have a Mars and Scorpio person and they planet Mars is falling in your 12th house of Pisces, it's going to be a lot of smashing going on. It's going to be a lot. The person is going to desire you for that. It's going to desire you for a place of support. A place of, well, we don't got to speak about everything. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's merge sexually. You see, emotionally. But a lot of times that it don't have to be sexually, but a lot of times emotionally is sexually. But if it's not an intimate relationship like that, it's definitely emotionally. So it might be a situation where you and a friend or you and a family member, and the friend is like, hey, care about me, notice me, do thoughtful things for me, be ride or die for me, whatever. And yes, it might be for you, the 12th house person, to be like, okay, no, I have to know when to detach. Because Scorpio, in any planet falling in the 12th house, could represent that. Understand? So, and I don't want to just drag out and keep and like go too far. But what I'm trying to say is that if a Mars in somebody's 12th house is different from a Mars in somebody's first house or fifth house or 11th house, you get what I'm saying? It's different. So it's gonna make a difference. So people have to really start looking at these aspects to understand why a person would be with you and only want intimate, or because intimate to me is a little bit different than just sexual, because a person could just be with a prostitute and not have any feelings or emotions behind it. But a person could be intimate with somebody, is having sexual experiences, but it's deeper to them, but they never ever get married, or they never ever have kids, or they can have kids from it, but they never. So when a person is saying, hey, so why did this person marry this other person over me, or pick this other person over me, it's for different reasons. It's not solely because you're not good enough and blase, even though that's how people might try to explain it, it ain't necessarily true like that. But so what I'm saying is that, so the 12th house, when any issues come up for us in our 12th house, it's not how you get the planet person to respond more effectively, like more where the planet person is not running, where it seems like they're not trying to sabotage the connection. You come back into yourself. When the emotions of insecurity come up, I'm not saying that the person ain't doing anything to cause the insecurity. Because let's say you're like, okay, I seen that person, flirting. It doesn't matter what they're doing, flirting with somebody else. They won't commit to me. They seem like they can't tell me their feelings. A lot of times they can't because it's in the 12th house. The way the sign Scorpio in somebody's 12th house is going to want to be intimate or go deep. Like they're going to be wanting to go deep, explore the person sexually, intimately. They're going to want to see the reactions of the person, the psychology of the person, like what's going on behind the scenes, what's in that person's mind. They may want to see like, okay, well, what does this person do? Like, what's the business of this person? Like, what type of money does this person have? How does this person think about spirituality and the occult? But they're going to want to merge in a way that has nothing to really do with talking verbally. It could be very passive. And the insecurities that will come up would be like the 12th house person would be like, man, this person, like, they only want me for sex. They only want me, like, why is this person seeming like evasive or like, and even petty? Because you're in the sign of Scorpio. Why is this person seem like they're trying to get revenge on me? Because you're in the sign of Scorpio. And then people say, okay, yep, this person was hiding this and that and this for me. The only way, see, I'm going to tell you where a lot of that comes from, too. What happens is, because if you notice, the 12th house can start off really strong, really good with the planet placements. Somebody else's planet's been in there, sitting in there. And then it starts to go haywire. Because let's say insecurities around anything that comes up for the 12th house person, they start to project onto the planet person. And they're like, oh my gosh, but you're in my life. And why did you do this to me? And why it puts the planet person in a position because the planet person wants the 12th house around. Let's say they like you. They genuinely like you. They want to get to know you. They want to be friends with you. They want to keep you as, their family member, whatever. The 12th house person is like, okay, but why does this relationship with this person or this interaction with this person just seem so intense and like so it's much to just keep up? Like, the person is making me the center of their world. The person is like so emotional. It's like the 12th house person can become unhinged sometimes when they're trying to save themselves from drowning. And it's like, you're insecure. What are you insecure about? Is that you're saying you're insecure because the planet person is flirting with somebody else, or the planet person isn't making you the object of their desire, the main focus, or whatever. The planet person isn't doing stuff that you can physically see a lot of times, or whatever. What ends up happening is the planet person sometimes ends up feeling like the 12th house person is in some sort of trauma or deep despair, and they don't want to be that person to completely push you over the edge. And the 12th house person a lot of times makes it really clear to the planet person, oh, I'm going to be around. I'm going to be around for whatever, forever and ever and ever. It doesn't matter what you do to me. We're soulmates. I'm having unconditional love. Not understanding that they shouldn't be having unconditional love. The unconditional love is really about themselves and being sensitive to themselves enough to say, okay, let me recognize where these insecurities really are coming from. It ain't the planet person. Not solely. But what happens if you get a planet person that really wants to hold on to you, to the 12th house, and I shouldn't say you, but if you get a planet person that really wants to hold on to you, the 12th house, and they're like, they're like really like, okay, this person wants to be in my life. They're kind of fragile, or I want to be in their life. I want them to, like, I want to be around them and everything, but at the same time, I don't know if they can handle much more. I don't know if what they do is the planet person tends to lie to the 12th house person. Because you really can't, it's like, well, I really can't tell them the truth because I don't even think that they can be able to handle it at this point. And the planet person too, I'm not gonna put all the blame on the 12th house. The planet person could feel like they don't want to lose the 12th house person. It's like, well, if I tell them that I'm married, or I tell them that I'm in another situation, they're probably gonna leave. I don't want them to necessarily leave, so I'm just going to lie to them. Or I'm just going to withhold the truth. But you have to, the planet person never really asks. The planet person kind of just, the house person never really asks the questions that they need to. The house person kind of just gets involved with the planet person. And it's on from there. And the planet, and the house person could be very divulging of like, well, this is what I got going on. That's what I got going on. I want you. I love you. I care about you. This is my feelings. And the whole time creating this whole thing, this whole interaction, this whole story line, whatever, based upon what they're feeling. Never once asked a question to the planet person like, yo, like, who else? Like, do you got a girlfriend? Do you? And it kind of gets carried away. And really, the 12th house person don't want to see the truth of what the planet person is saying, because they're in their mind, they're like, well, I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize this. This is unconditional love. This is unconditional wanting and fulfillment. But really, the house person, don't want to really see what the planet person got going on. And really, the house person doesn't want to see really what's going on with themselves. The house person doesn't want to see it. They're looking for the planet person to be that person that saves them from themselves, saves them from this stuff that they don't want to uncover, but the planet person has activated it. And it's in time in your life for you to uncover it. And I've heard people say that there's, a lot of times there's these third party and multiple people in the situation that's involved with the 12th house. Maybe it depends on what sign is there. If you put like Gemini there, you put like Sag or something. If you put Scorpio, I don't know. It may or may not be. If you put Taurus, it may or it may not be. If you put, like something fixed or something with Aquarius, it definitely may be. But you're putting signs that's showing multiple people, like people, you know what I mean? Like Libra or something. But it could be really with any sign. And to be honest with you, there's, depending on the house, people cheat on each other all the time. Planets in the 7th house, planets in the 5th house, it doesn't matter. People in where they don't even have planets that touch the other partner's 12th house at all. And you will still see that. It's just that it's pronounced in the 12th house. It's just that it is when you think of something happening that you don't see and you don't see coming, you don't know about, you think of like cheating, affairs, secret money, secret kids, secret marriages, and it's true. But and it's easier to hide those things because the 12th house person doesn't want to see it. Because they don't really see what's going on with themselves there. So what you have to do with the 12th house in Synastry, and I'll talk more about the 12th house, but I just wanted to go here with the Synastry aspects. You have to understand that the 12th house, when there are significant emotional waves that start stirring up, and it will be, you do not necessarily project onto the planet person. You have to bring it back onto yourself. And you got to go through the motions of it. It's going to trigger, it's going to be going back to something in your childhood, something inside of some other life you had possibly. If you want to keep it on this life and you don't want to do all that past life stuff, but when you was in childhood or some significant experiences that you had that could have felt like abandonment or something, or you could have felt like something was wrong. And then you have to ask yourself the question of, okay, so I got to face this within myself. it'll all it takes you. It might take you a while, but you look over at the planet person and be like, I feel the connection with this person, but I'm really starting to master why I came across them or what's going on with me. It gives you power, it gives you strength, and really the planet person comes closer instead of running, depending on if y'all two are deciding to be together or not. And it really makes for some real bomb sex and intimacy with the person. I'm talking like, because you can move all the other clauses out the way. And you know, and some people, and I mean, this can definitely show affairs and stuff like that. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying, but I feel like it puts you in a position, because that 12th house is a position of where you're interacting without like the judgment necessarily, because you're not, the reason why people don't face stuff within themselves that they have to face in acknowledgement is because of the judgment that they feel behind it. But I'm telling you, I think that everybody should have that experience to where, you know, they can have like some real true intimacy, man, and just see what that feels like. Okay, but this has been a little bit about how the 12th house, what the 12th house is representing. And yes, the planet is not about love. It's not about love. It's about experiences. Does the planet person, so the person's asked the question, does a planet person ever, and she was saying Venus, love the 12th house person? It ain't necessarily about love, baby. Most of it, a lot, it's not about love. Okay, so this will be all for right now. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for liking the video. Because you know I'll be back. Ew.